Hi, today I'm down here since I want to show you InsightMaker high level, the tool that we are using, how to use it in order to create causal loop high level, and how to use it to create flow and stock diagram high level as well, everything high level. So this is the tool. It's coming for free. You don't have to pay nothing. And it's enable you to create the diagram. It enables you to run simulation if you can. You can share your work, or other can share their work with you. And if you want to see what other people did, you can go up here to explore insights and or use tags or you search communication, and you can pick, you can read what are the diagram, what are the models. You can pick one that you feel that it's something that relevant to you. You can read it, and if there's a simulation, I think there's some simulation here, then there's simulation. You see the values, then I can run the simulation, and God knows what it is, because I never look at this model. But you can read you can start to dive in the simulation, show you how the system is behaving. If you want to go back, there is here InsightMaker home, and you're back to home. In order to create your own, you have to create an account and you have to log in. So let me log in to my account. And once you log into your account, if you go to home, it's up here, you can see all the models that you created. You can pick them and keep on working with them. Or you can create new insight. It's up here. Once you create a new insight, you will have a dummy page with instructions. Click here to clear. The demo model will clear it. You are ready to go. So the first thing that we want to do is a very simple causal diagram. So in order to do that, all we have to do is to add variables. Now I won't get into the explanation what is variable. You can look at our blog. You can Google a little bit about causal loop. In a nutshell, variables are elements in the system that should have some, the content of the variable should be measured. So we are going to play with dummy data. So we are going to call this this variable A, and we are going to create, let's say, 4 different variables. So you can do it from add primitive, or you can do control and right click and create variable and name it B, and then control, right click and create variable C. I know more or less what I want to do. And let's create another one here. Control, right click, create variable D. Obviously you need to give them more meaningful names. So, and I have a video that explains how to do it with a real example of procurement in organization. You can look at our blog. So those are the variables that you define. Now in order to do a causal loop, all you have to do is to connect them, and you're doing it with links. So there are flows, there are links up here. You have to click the links, and once you click the links, you can start to left click on the arrow and drag and drop it. Left click on the arrow, drag and drop it. Left click on the arrow, drag and drop it. If you want to create nicer curved lines, shift and click will create a handle. You see it, the blue one. Then you can make it much more smoother. So here it goes. If you know about causal diagrams, you know that the impact can be positive or negative. So you can define that by double click and just give it a name. So it would be a plus. If the plus is too far away from the line, you click it, you see the small rectangle, you have to take it with the mouse and drop it wherever you want. So the plus now is here, and that will be, let's say, a plus as well. I didn't double click it. So that's going to be a plus as well, and that's going to be plus as well, and that's going to be a minus, and that's going to be a balance loop. And if you want to depict the balance, you can or get a picture here, or just to add a text, call it B, and just better is to resize it and to place it in the middle. And that's how to create a causal diagram. Obviously, it takes much more time and effort to understand what is A, B, C, D, why it's plus, why it's minus, are there any delays between them, what are the behavior over time of each variable. But I'm not getting into those. This is just simple explanation how to use the tool. This is how to use it. Causal diagram can be more complex, so there might be a link from here to here, and which create another element of like now we have two different loops. So I won't get into it, but just want to show you how it's being done. So that's all. Very simple element of very simple causal loop. That's what we need. So the next element is how to convert this into a flow diagram, and this is pretty simple to do it in the tool. It takes a lot of thinking. So the idea about causal diagram and flow and stock is that you are converting those variable into or variable or stock or flow. And I won't get into the detail how. I'll do it in a different video, but this is the idea. So if you want to convert that into a flow, a simple example will be that we have A, B, let's put it that way, A, C, and D are actually, so A and D are variable, are stock. So let's add stock. So I'm adding a stock. It's going to be A. I'm adding another stock, control, and right click, and stock. And the stock now is going to be D. C is going actually to be the flow. So in order to define a flow between two stocks, what I have to do is to switch from link to flows. Then I'm taking again, click the arrow, drag, drop. That's a flow. And in this example, the flow is actually C. Now, let me put it on the sides, and we are talking here about usually completely two different models. That will be one, that will be two. I'm just doing it side by side to show you how the tool is working. So some variable will stay as variable and they can influence flows. So in this example, we have A, we have C, we have that, we are missing B. So we are going to create here another control, click, and create a variable. This is going to be B, and B is a variable that's going to influence C. So what we are going to do is to go to setting here, remove it from flows to links. You can't create a flow between variable. So now we connected this to that, and this is a very simple stock and flow where there's a flow between A to B to D through C, and B is impacting C to some degree. Now, if we want, we can easily transform it into a simulation by giving some data. So the initial value of A, let's say it's 100, and the initial variable of D is going to be 0, and the flow rate of C is going to be 1. So this is a very simple simulation, very easy to understand, where this line means that every time that the simulation is running, one type of quantity flows from A to D, and that's if A and D has the same type of measurement. So if we run this simulation, you see what we expect to see. One is slightly going down, one is slightly going up. Just depict what you see here, very simple. If you want to use variable, then you can go to B, or you can do any kind of function, or any kind of function here to calculate a number, or you just can put a constant. Let's put 2 here. Once you have the variable here, you can go to the flow, and instead of putting just value that define the flow, you can do a function or an expression here. So here we can say, instead of 1, actually what we want is 1 plus whatever is defined in D, apply, oh sorry, it should be B, so now actually, since it's a constant here, it's going to be 3 every time, but if you do any kind of calculation here, it's going to be a variable number that comes in. And if we run the simulation, we'll see that obviously it feels and behaves differently since we increase the flow from here to here. One thing to understand is that a flow between 2 different stalks will always remove from one and add to another. If you want to create different relationship between variables, the idea is to create another stalk and to add a flow to the stock. So I don't know how to create it from scratch. What I'm doing is what I know how to do, but this is what we want to depict, just a line here, okay? And let's say that we want line out. So if we want any kind of data flow from here to here, but we don't want it necessarily to be everything that goes to here, then the only way to do it is by doing that, and then we can do 2 stuff. We can say B is influence, flows, and I need to be in links. So D has input to the flow and B has input to the flow, and then when I'm working with the flow here, we should see B, D, and the stock when I'm trying to do formula. So you see B and D, and I can now play with B and D. I can do any kind of calculation that eventually the number, what flows in here is going to be different than what flows out here. So definitely can be done, just a different way to do it. And that's all. I hope that you managed to understand that the idea was just high level, how simple it is. It's simple. It's more time consuming in terms of thinking what you have to do rather than just doing it. That's all. Thanks and bye.